Only 15 days to go until the election. The Trump and Harris campaigns are heading into overdrive.
So President Trump talking to voters while serving them up during an iconic appearance at a Pennsylvania McDonald's. And Harris will focus on voters in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin after campaigning with celebrities this weekend.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy is live in Royal Oak, Michigan with the latest. Hey, Peter.
Good morning. The Harris campaign seems to think they can win over persuadable battleground state voters by having moderated conversations hosted by Liz Cheney. That's going to happen today in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, and that's going to be a totally different vibe than over the weekend when the campaign had headline performances by Lizzo and Usher.
We got work to do, Atlanta. ATL, we got work to do to get this campaign across the finish line. I'm counting on you. We can make a difference in this election, Georgia.
So if you ask me if America is ready for its first woman president, I only got one thing to say. It's about damn time! It's about damn time!
Last night in PA, former President Trump went to watch the Jets lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and there were apparently, you'll hear here, plenty of Trump fans in the stadium. Trump's biggest event yesterday, though, was not at a stadium. It was at a drive-thru. A Trump-supporting McDonald's franchise owner worked with the Secret Service to pass bags of fast food through the window into people's cars, and they taught him how to work the fry cooker.
And we're going to take from these ones first. It is first in, first out with the freshest ones.
Turn it up. Keep it tight. We got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good, very
nice
good.
And full. This guy's a good instructor.
I appreciate it.
Wow. I'm going to give a really big one so that, look at that, they're just pouring out of there. How good is that?
And it's really something to think that people in Pennsylvania were eating French fries that were made by Donald Trump. At one point while he was there, he said he'd been working at McDonald's for 15 minutes, which he says is 15 minutes longer than Harris ever did. He continues to say that she is making it up, that she worked there in California in 1983. There's just no record of her being there or not being there.
Well, so Peter, is there somebody that worked with her? Is there a manager? Anybody, like they carpool with anyone? Did anyone say, I worked with the Kamala Harris?
Maybe that's the October surprise, but the easy and only answer to your question is no. She says, and they had been saying before she became the top of the ticket, that in 1983 in Alameda, California, as the Royal Oak Express gets ready to go by here outside Detroit, she has been saying, as a minor detail in her biography, that she worked the cash register and the fry machine and the ice cream machine, which fact check that because the ice cream machine is very rarely ever working. Maybe it was in 1983, but they say that she worked there in Alameda, and it's just before W-2s, and the campaign has not been able to find a record. They can't find, I know various different fact checkers have been looking at this. There just is no proof, and to our knowledge, there is no photo of her in the McDonald's apron, which now there is a photo of Donald Trump in the McDonald's apron. So
there is. Okay.
As he was putting on the apron, Peter.
And I just want to point out, all that noise just now, no train.
Stop.
No train.
Oh, my gosh.
There was no train.
Well, you did well.
Great job,
You did well.
Peter.
Thank you so much, Peter. After he put on the apron, they said, what do you like? What's your favorite food at McDonald's? I like it all.
Yeah,
he does.
He really does. And if you look at any of the photos on Trump Force One, they're always serving McDonald's. And this is just a dumb decision by Kamala Harris. First of all, the New York Times did an entire investigation. The New York Times investigative unit, they went to the store, and McDonald's is known for keeping really good records. So they talked with people that were there in that period of time. No one knows. They talked with friends. Apparently, she didn't mention this back in 2019 when she was running for president, but apparently when she got the nomination, she started talking about this, and no one has been able to verify this. But if this was a true story, she should have did it before him. Now you got the rich guy serving at McDonald's, and it just makes her look bad.
Well, it's her biography. No one really cares how many hours she worked at McDonald's, but don't go tell everyone you can relate to them because you worked at McDonald's when you didn't.
It's like Tim Walz.
Like, look, like Tim Walz.
Both of them.
Can he shoot a gun?
They just make up stuff.
He's a knucklehead sometimes.
Right.
Is she going to say, well, I'm a knucklehead sometimes? Or like, can she borrow that from Tim Walz?
Can a woman say you're a knucklehead, or is that like a male thing?
It doesn't sound like something
I don't think she'll ever say that. I don't think she'll ever talk about this or admit if she did not work at the McDonald's.
But then sooner or later, Ainsley, it was time to work.
Oh my gosh. I loved it when he's like, never touches a human hand. Fry never touches a human hand. He's telling the family at the drive-thru that they're what was the word he used? We played it in the open. He said something like, I'm just a nobody. Oh, you're not just a nobody.
Oh, here's the sound right here.
Okay.
This is fun. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again. Thank you. Look at that. Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you. Hi, darling. How are you?
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much.
You are not ordinary. I can see.
We pray for you.
Thank you.
And you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
How sweet. We pray for you.
And Pennsylvania.
What a moment.
Right. So, okay, the drive-thru window, well, he looked like he adapted to you. This is why. He likes sales, number one. Number two, he likes to stay busy.
This is
so
true.
when you go for a McDonald's shift, you're doing this fast food, you work nonstop. So he loves the pace. I wouldn't be surprised he picks up shifts.
But look at this photo right here, Brian. You got the assassination attempt, which has become an iconic photo of him saying, fight, fight, fight. But you got Donald, a billionaire waving from a McDonald's drive-thru window.
Having fun.
Just add this to the list.
You know, do you think Elon Musk should do like park cars or something? I mean, to show, show people that don't need to work.
Wasn't it kind of touching when he walked into the McDonald's and there's the lady who's giving him the apron, and then there's the boy that's the young man who's trying to help him.
It just
with
makes him relatable.
Machine. It's like, oh my gosh, the president of the United States is in here in McDonald's and paying attention to us and actually, you know, coming to work and learning about our career and our jobs.
So you know he had to take a shot of Kamala Harris before he took off from it. This is what he said. He's worked 15 minutes more than her.
Right. So a couple of things that are going on.
Oh, wait, I think we have that soundbite, Brian.
I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. And I think it's inappropriate when somebody puts down all over the place that she worked at McDonald's. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was. She specifically worked at the French fry, where they make the French fries, and she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's. In other words, she's lying Kamala.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Why would she lie about that?
Why because she's lying Kamala, that's why.
It's true. I mean, it's part of her biography. It sounds comical, but if you're going to tell people, I'm like you, I worked at McDonald's, and it turns out I'm not like you and I never worked at McDonald's. So instead of looking at this and saying, okay, this is a move, let's look into finding out if Kamala Harris actually did work there, this is MSNBC's take.
What is the logic behind this, going to a McDonald's? I mean, we know the guy likes Big Macs and filet of fish, and he's used the word love to describe the way he feels about the food there before. But what's this about?
There's no logic to it. It's a stunt. He has not put forth an economic agenda. He, as you know, appears to be not well, and he's engaged in some really bizarre types of activities during this campaign.
First of all, don't tell us about not well when we got Joe Biden in the White House. You guys have no ground to stand on after backing Joe Biden. But I think this just goes to the heart of the Democratic Party right now. You got Kamala Harris with all the celebrities, and you got Donald Trump that is with the working class, people that are average day Americans, and the Democrats used to be the party of the people. The party has completely changed. How do you let the rich guy out work you on the campaign trail with the working class. It's just a missed opportunity for them.
Well, when Kamala Harris goes in a gas station and she says, I love Doritos, and she's shopping with her husband, the left, all the other outlets are just praising her for that. I felt that was wonderful. But then when Donald Trump goes to work at a McDonald's to not only work there and learn about the business, but also to point out that he says she was lying about working, they go crazy. They call it a stunt. They say he's not well, which is a new thing, right?
So new theme is he's unhinged, he's 78, not the same guy. His speeches, they did that ridiculous study in the New York Times about his speeches. They say they're darker. Well, have you seen the candidate of joy?
Yeah.
Almost everything is negative now, and people, they're going at, that's her strategy. I'm going to go negative. If you elect him, the world's going to end, and he's unhinged, and he's not well. But it's just amazing to me is it ripples down. It goes from Harris to the reporter to the anchor on MSNBC to Jake Tapper on Saturday night. President talks for an hour and a half, and all they're talking about on other channels is one comment he made about Arnold Palmer. And that's it. Well, he spoke for an hour and a half, and then, of course, they get to January 6th. That's every Sunday show.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.